Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, tonight's video, you are going to want to see every second of it. You're not going to believe what just happened in the state of Florida. Now, the Department of Justice under the Biden administration is actually leveraging their idea and their authority to restrict gun owners' rights based off of religious persecution and racial discrimination a couple hundred years ago. You cannot make this up. This is so controversial and so insane. I've got 4 sources linked in the description box below, and the original court document from the DOJ also linked. This is something you need to send out because everyone you know needs to know about this, because this is off the charts and I can't even believe it. Now I'm going to say a quick word from our sponsor, XS Sites, and then I'm going to dive in. I'm going to show you everything because this is one of the juiciest stories I've seen in a while. Now, XS Sights is known for making the fastest sights in any light. For more than 25 years, the XS team has created some of the most innovative sights on the market today for pistols, rifles, and shotguns. Whether used for personal defense or hunting, these sights are designed and built to be the absolute best for their specific purpose. Now, XS Sights has offered you a 10% coupon for being a viewer of this channel for the rest of this week. Use code XSSights10 in the link in the description box below for your discount, and thank you so much to XS for making the discount for you possible and sponsoring this week's videos. But guys, brothers and sisters, I can't even set it up any better. Let's dive into this. Again, I want to re-emphasize, everything is linked, 4 sources and the original court document. Let's get it. The Biden administration defends the federal ban on gun possession by medical marijuana users. This next part. The Justice Department says that the policy is rational and consistent with the right to keep and bear arms. Now keep in mind, since Bruen came down, everything is shifting. Well, the Department of Justice, in their ultimate wisdom, decided to say that they were consistent with Bruen based off, like I said in the intro, religious persecution and racial discrimination in history. You can't make this up. Let's dive in, because this, oh baby, this is going to set some hair on fire. The Biden administration yesterday urged a federal judge to dismiss a lawsuit challenging the ban on gun possession by medical marijuana users, saying that law is consistent with a long tradition of firearm regulation in the United States. Furthermore, the Justice Department says that prohibition makes perfect sense because marijuana use impairs the ability to handle guns responsibly. Now, this case is brought to you, and this is the first little interesting twist, from a Democratic gubernatorial candidate, Nikki Fried, who happens to be the sitting Florida Agricultural Commission. Commissioner of the Agriculture in Florida. You can't make this stuff up. Again, let's get it. The government's lawyers were responding to a lawsuit by Nikki Fried, a Democrat who runs the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Fried, whose department oversees concealed carry permits and some part of Florida's medical marijuana industry, argues that prohibiting all cannabis consumers from owning guns violates the Second Amendment. Now, keep in mind, she's running against Ron DeSantis, where she's in the primary process right now. So she's going against Ron DeSantis and other Democrats while this is going on. Delicious. Let's keep going, because we're getting to the juicy part. The same argument, of course, could be applied to many legal drugs. Talking about medical marijuana, you shouldn't have guns. Yet the federal government does not prohibit gun ownership by people who take psychoactive prescription drugs, such as, don't hold me on this, I'm not a doctor, benzodiazepines, or opioid analgesics. Nor does it prohibit drinkers from owning firearms, although the Justice Department notes state that gun laws aimed at alcoholics or intoxicated individuals. The ban for cannabis consumers, by contrast, applies whether or not they handle guns while impaired. Now, they're talking about the 4473, where you actually have to answer that question, and it basically says you can or cannot get a firearm. It's a yay or nay. It's a green light or a red light. But here we go. Listen to the setup here. I cannot wait to hear the comments on this one. Last June, in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruen, the Supreme Court said gun restrictions comply with the Second Amendment only when they are consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. That test puts the burden on the government to show that the law is analogous to policies that have been long seen consistent with the right to keep and bear arms. And here we go. Toward that end, the Justice Department notes that, quote, again linked, in England and in America, from the colonial era through the 19th century, governments regularly disarmed a variety of groups deemed dangerous. For instance, again, quote, England disarmed Catholics in the 17th and 18th centuries. And again, a quote, many American colonies forbade providing Indians with firearms. End quote. Those examples may not help the government's case as much as the Justice Department thinks. Likewise, with another tradition that brief does not mention, banning firearm possession by black people, another group deemed dangerous in the South by Democrats, by the way. I added that part. That's just history. This is actually in the court brief. They sent this to a court in Florida. It's linked. Oh my God, it's insane. But let's keep going because it gets even better. Freed is currently vying with other Democrats to oppose Florida's Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, when he runs for re-election this fall. Despite their differences, Freed and DeSantis see eye to eye on this issue. Quote, "The governor stands for protecting Floridians' constitutional rights, including Second Amendment rights," his office said after Freed filed her lawsuit in April. "Floridians should not be deprived of a constitutional right for using a medication lawfully." Let's recap in summation. So we've got a federal court that was a federal lawsuit which was initiated against the Biden administration by the running Democratic gubernatorial candidate in the primary system in Florida. They then come back as the DOJ, the Biden DOJ, this came out yesterday. They came out and said, well, no. According to Bruin, we needed to find some history and tradition. So the history and tradition that we're putting forward as our reason to restrict the rights of American citizens is simply that we did not allow Catholics in the 17th and 18th century to have firearms. So check. And also we forbade Indians from having firearms as well. Check. We're good, right? Right, guys? What happened? Awkward. And then to wrap it all up, Nikki Freed, gubernatorial candidate amongst the primary system, agrees with Ron DeSantis and the entire backing up of the Second Amendment rights. You cannot make this up. Everything is linked in the description box below. Please check out that sources so you know I am speaking gospel. And I will see you tomorrow morning on the bullet points. I'm Braden. See you later.